Iranian Zagros Mountains, 85 miles northwest of Isfahan, 2 in the morning. 4 MH-60 Black Hawk helicopters flew low through a narrow mountain valley, their rotors echoing off the rocky walls. Inside the helicopters sat 120 U.S. Army Rangers prepared for one of the most dangerous missions of the conflict. Their target was Iran's Central Missile Command Facility, a heavily fortified complex built into the mountainside that coordinated all ballistic missile operations against American forces in the region. Intelligence had been tracking this facility for months. Satellite imagery showed a sprawling complex with multiple underground levels carved deep into the granite mountain. The facility housed the central command and control systems that directed Iranian missile attacks. Destroying it would cripple Iran's ability to coordinate strikes against U.S. bases throughout the Middle East. The complex was defended by approximately 300 Iranian Revolutionary Guard soldiers equipped with heavy machine guns, anti-aircraft systems, and reinforced bunkers. 3 layers of security perimeters surrounded the main entrance. Guard towers positioned every 200 meters provided overlapping fields of fire. The Iranians believed this facility was impenetrable. The Rangers had trained for this mission for 3 weeks, using detailed satellite imagery and intelligence reports. They knew every building layout, every guard rotation, every defensive position. The assault plan called for a 3-pronged attack. Alpha Company would assault the main gate. Bravo Company would scale the eastern cliffs to attack from above. Charlie Company would breach the underground ventilation shafts. At 2:15 a.m., the helicopters reached the drop zone 3 miles from the facility. Rangers fast roped down into the rocky terrain in complete darkness. Night vision goggles transformed the black landscape into green clarity. Squad leaders confirmed all personnel were on the ground. The helicopters departed immediately to avoid detection. The Rangers moved silently through the mountain terrain in 3 separate columns. Alpha Company advanced along the main access road, using natural rock formations for cover. Bravo Company climbed the steep eastern slope, their specialized equipment allowing them to scale the 200-foot cliffs. Charlie Company located the ventilation shaft entrance hidden among boulders half a mile from the complex. At 2:45 a.m., all 3 companies reported in position. The assault would begin in exactly 5 minutes. Rangers performed final equipment checks. Suppressors were attached to rifles. Grenades were positioned for quick access. Breaching charges were armed and ready. At precisely 2:50 a.m., Charlie Company detonated charges on the ventilation shaft entrance. The explosion echoed through the mountains, immediately alerting Iranian defenders. Within seconds, spotlights activated across the facility. Alarm sirens pierced the night air. Iranian soldiers poured out of barracks buildings, grabbing weapons and rushing to defensive positions. But the Rangers had planned for this. As Iranian attention focused on the ventilation shaft explosion, Alpha Company launched their assault on the main gate. Javelin missiles streaked toward the 2 guard towers flanking the entrance. Both towers exploded simultaneously, killing the machine gun crews inside. Rangers surged forward through the smoke and debris. Iranian defenders at the main gate opened fire with AK-47 rifles and PKM machine guns. Tracer rounds lit up the darkness as hundreds of bullets flew toward the advancing Rangers. The Americans returned fire with devastating accuracy, their M4 carbines dropping Iranian soldiers one after another. 2 Rangers fell wounded in the initial exchange, but the assault continued without pause. Bravo Company reached the clifftop above the facility at the same moment. Looking down, they could see the chaos unfolding below. Iranian soldiers ran between buildings, completely unaware of the threat above them. Bravo Company opened fire from their elevated position, catching the defenders in a deadly crossfire. The Iranians found themselves trapped between 2 attacking forces. Soldiers who turned to engage Alpha Company were shot from above by Bravo Company. Those who looked up were cut down by Rangers advancing through the main gate. Within 10 minutes, the outer perimeter had fallen. Over 40 Iranian defenders lay dead. Meanwhile, Charlie Company had entered the ventilation shaft system. The narrow tunnels forced them to move single file, but their intelligence was accurate. The shafts led directly into the underground command center. Rangers navigated through the darkness, their night vision revealing the path ahead. At 3:10 a.m., Alpha Company breached the main administration building. Inside, Iranian officers were frantically destroying documents and computer systems. Rangers swept through room by room, eliminating resistance and securing critical intelligence. Hard drives were pulled from servers. Maps and documents were photographed before Iranian personnel could destroy them. Bravo Company descended from the cliffs using rappelling ropes, landing on the rooftops of several buildings. They breached skylights and dropped into the structures below, catching Iranian defenders completely by surprise. Close quarters combat erupted in hallways and offices. The Rangers' superior training proved decisive in every engagement. The real objective lay underground. Charlie Company emerged from the ventilation system into a massive cavern housing the Missile Command Center. Rows of computer consoles filled the space, displaying trajectory calculations and targeting data. Iranian technicians looked up in shock as Rangers poured into the room from the ventilation ducts above. A brief but intense firefight erupted. Iranian guards protecting the command center fought desperately, knowing the importance of the facility. Rangers used the computer consoles for cover while systematically eliminating the defenders. Within 5 minutes, the command center was secured. 12 Iranian technicians surrendered, their hands raised in defeat. Rangers immediately began downloading data from the computer systems. The information was invaluable, revealing the locations of hidden missile sites, launch protocols, and coordination procedures. Explosives experts began placing charges throughout the facility. Every computer system, every server rack, every piece of equipment would be destroyed. At 3:45 a.m., Iranian reinforcements arrived from a nearby garrison. Approximately 150 soldiers in military trucks approached the facility from the south. Ranger positions on the perimeter spotted the convoy and immediately engaged with Javelin missiles. 3 trucks exploded in rapid succession, blocking the narrow mountain road. The surviving Iranian reinforcements dismounted and attempted to advance on foot. Rangers had anticipated this possibility and established ambush positions along the approach route. Claymore mines detonated among the Iranian formations. Machine gun fire from elevated positions cut down soldiers attempting to find cover. The reinforcement attempt became a massacre. Inside the facility, Rangers continued their systematic destruction. The underground missile command center was rigged with enough explosives to collapse the entire cavern. Fuel storage tanks were set to detonate. Communication towers were mined. Nothing would remain operational when the Rangers departed. By 4:30 a.m., the facility was fully secured and prepared for demolition. Rangers began extracting captured intelligence materials and the 12 Iranian prisoners. Wounded Rangers received medical treatment while awaiting helicopter extraction. The total American casualties stood at 4 killed and 11 wounded. At 4:45 a.m., extraction helicopters arrived at a landing zone cleared by the Rangers. The first wave lifted out with the wounded and prisoners. Charlie Company provided security while Alpha and Bravo companies loaded onto the aircraft. As the final helicopter lifted off, the demolition countdown began. Exactly 5 minutes after the last Ranger departed, the facility erupted in a massive chain of explosions. The underground command center collapsed first, sending a shock wave through the mountain. Secondary explosions destroyed the surface buildings one by one. The communication towers toppled into the flames. Fuel storage ignited in a fireball visible for miles. By dawn, nothing remained of Iran's Central Missile Command facility except smoking rubble and collapsed tunnels. The mountain itself had partially caved in, burying whatever equipment survived the initial blasts. The mission was a complete success. The Rangers had destroyed Iran's primary missile coordination center, captured critical intelligence about Iranian military operations, and eliminated approximately 180 enemy combatants, including 40 during the reinforcement ambush. 12 high-value prisoners with direct knowledge of Iranian missile programs were now in American custody. The loss of this facility immediately impacted Iranian operations. Without central coordination, missile batteries across the country struggled to communicate and organize attacks. The intelligence captured during the raid revealed the locations of 3 previously unknown missile storage sites, which were destroyed by American airstrikes within 24 hours. American casualties totaled 4 Rangers killed in action and 11 wounded. All wounded were evacuated successfully and expected to recover. The 4 fallen soldiers were honored for their sacrifice in one of the most complex and successful special operations missions of the conflict. The operation demonstrated the devastating capability of American special forces when provided with accurate intelligence and proper planning. 6 hours of brutal combat had crippled Iran's missile command infrastructure and set back their offensive capabilities by months. Iranian state media initially denied any attack had occurred. but satellite imagery released the following day showed the complete destruction of the facility. The mountain fortress that Iran believed impenetrable had been reduced to rubble by 120 Army Rangers in a single night.